welcome the director of the Kimball Art Museum, Eric M. Lee, and the executive director of the National Cutting Horse Association, Jay Winborn.
Good morning. Each year, Visit Fort Worth presents a hospitality award to an individual or organization with a big vision to make Fort Worth even more welcoming. The award is a sculpture commemorating Amon Carter's tradition of extending a hat to his guests. Thank you to Bennett Partners for sponsoring this year's award. And thank you, Bennett Partners, for all you do for Fort Worth. In 2016, the Kimball Art Museum was honored to receive this distinction. And this fall, we celebrate our 50th year as one of the most influential museums in the country. It requires not only visionary ideas, but also extraordinary dedication to build institutions for the ages.
This year's recipient is Stockyard Heritage, the partnership between Majestic Realty and the Hickman family. A generation ago, Holt Hickman had a vision to save our historic stockyards so that all could learn what it means when we say, where the West begins. Led by Craig Cavalier, with Holt's children, Brad Hickman and Brenda Castores, Stockyards Heritage has renewed their vision. The opening of the Hotel Drover and Mule Alley was cited by Travel and Leisure as one of the reasons Fort Worth was named a top 50 destination for 2021. This year, the NCHA is celebrating its 75th year, and I think we can all agree we are living in a moment when being a cowboy or a cowgirl and what that means has again captured the imagination of the world. Please watch this tribute video.
Here in Fort Worth, its story would not be complete without referencing the stockyards.
Our Western heritage is something that not many cities have. They might have a little bit of it, but not like this.
Our heart and core and soul of the city of Fort Worth is Fort Worth Stockyards. We believe that, that should be protected and preserved.
There were a lot of people that have had dreams for 40 years on what the stockyards could be and what they were going to do with it, but could never quite get it across the finish line. If you looked at the buildings, a lot of them were just on the verge of what we call demolition by neglect.
There was a lot of concern from people in the area of what would happen to these historic old barns, because they are a part of the history, and not just our history, but the history of the city.
We're one of the fastest growing large cities in the country. That's not going to change. We just got to do it the right way.
In order to preserve our history, we must invest in it.
We could not have picked a better person to pick up Dad's vision for the stockyards and even enhance it. Craig is an incredibly smart, creative guy.
He just got a vision for the way things ought to look.
We started coming back here and visiting and seeing what people were doing during different day parts, watching the herd throughout the day. Saw a lot of tourism. There were 2.5 million tourists a year coming through here, but I didn't see locals much. I kind of thought that if we could put together a thoughtful mix of restaurants and retail and entertainment programming, that if we could embrace the locals in a big way, we'd create a special place for them, and tourists love to go where the locals like to go. A couple of billion impressions worldwide.
If you're going to sell a city, if you're going to keep a city vibrant and strong, tourism is a huge piece of that.
We really built this to where they would feel like they have a respite in Fort Worth. They have a place to come and bring their friends and family, and they come and they feel that, and it's authentic because we've taken the time to make sure it's authentic.
Now, with this new regenerated entertainment district that we've got down here, it does make it feel completely new. When you look at those buildings, they don't look unlike they did 100 years ago, except for that we know that they are going to stand for another 100 years. So that's why I say promise fulfilled.
I made a promise to my dad. I told him I'd take care of it and we'd move this thing forward and we'd get it done. I'm pretty excited that we have.
We're inspired by our passion to deliver something that people will find memorable, special.
It's nice to see more people here. That's one thing that's changed in the stockyards.
And it's, one of the only places you can come and see real cowboys.
I would encourage this generation and future generations to always protect it, safeguard it, and be proud that you're from Fort Worth, and be proud that we have the Fort Worth Stockyards.
The minute you leave Stockyards, you don't feel that again until what? Until you come back. And that's when we welcome you home.
Please welcome to the stage the Executive Vice President of Stockyards Heritage Development Company, Craig Cavalier.
Stockyard, it's my backyard. That's where I grew up. I drank my first beer, I cried my first tear on the corner of North and Main. And down the bricks of Exchange, I felt so strange.
Well, everybody's just too kind. Those folks that are on that video are the early adopters and the believers in some ideas that we had and what we thought we could do to elevate the stockyards. And I remember talking to Mike Moncrief early on, and Betsy, Maddie, and gosh, David Cook, Jay Chapa. I don't know if Jay's here tonight, or this morning, tonight. It should be at night. What are we doing here this early? I was going to call Mitch today and say, can we move it to 9 a.m.? I'm a little tired. But those early adopters that really believed, trusted us. We had a vision. We had no master plan. We still don't. We're letting the chapters kind of unfold on this a little bit. But those that believed in us and really partnered with us, I'm really accepting this award, I think, and I don't feel we're even worthy of it, but we'll take this on with the city of Fort Worth, the county. I saw Judge Glenn Whitley this morning. They really deserve the award because they're the ones who put the trust in us and believed in us to come on and take a shot at trying to elevate the stockyards, but also preserve and protect it. And I think Mayor was right. It was demolition by neglect. It was falling down, and a lot of parts of it still are. We only own 70 acres out of the 200-acre district. A lot of people think we control everything. We don't. But that we do have, we promise to take care of it. We promise to preserve it. We promise to protect it. And we also promise to make it better. It is true that we went from 2.5 million visitors to 5 million visitors. And I was thinking about that a little bit on the way over. Super Bowl last week in LA was made to be a really big deal and drew about 100,000 people and 5 days worth of parties around all of that. And really proud to have it over there in Los Angeles where our corporate offices are. We have 100,000 people a week coming to the Fort Worth Stockyards. We have a Super Bowl every single week for Fort Worth and the Stockyards. And it's really unbelievable. We thought that on our 7-year plan or 8-year plan, we could maybe double from 2.5 to 5, and we did it in 36 months. We've invested $200 million in the Stockyards. In the last 4 years, we've probably invested about $500 million in the city of Fort Worth and other projects that we're doing. But in the Stockyards, we've only touched about, let's see, we did the mule barns, we did Drover. I think we've developed 2.5 acres, plus the adaptive reuse of Mule Alley. We still have 30 acres left to go. And we're going to continue to reinvest in there. It could be 300, it could be 400 or 500 million, but it's really not about the money. It's about the experience and the memories that hopefully we're going to give for generations to come. And finally, I'd like to say that, we don't really feel like we own the Stockyards. I know we do, and sometimes I have to remind myself that this is ours, especially when there's problems down there. And Tim Love or Sarah or Marcus is calling saying we need more valet stands or whatever we're doing. I go, shit, we do own this place. Sometimes it feels like it's someone else's, but in truth, we really feel like we're caretakers. You saw our Director of Design and Development, Kayla Wilkie, who plays a big role in everything we do down there on our branding and development and design, but we really always remind ourselves when we say, what are we going to do next? We don't own the Stockyards. We are caretakers. We've been invited here by Mike Moncrief early and Betsy and the council to trust us, and we have to do, it's not about profit. If we make money, great, but it's really about creating memories for Fort Worthians, Tarrant County, state of Texas, and really on the planet. And so we're going to take that 5 million to 6, we're going to take it to 7, but we're not going to forget about the locals. This place is about the locals. You guys own this place, and we're just going to take care of it for you. Thank you.